Okay, I wanted to do a quick recap of my trades for the month of July. I'm super proud of this month, and I'm going to show you why in just a second. But um, I had a great short today with Ecor, and I was super stoked about it. So I sat down because I was so excited, and I put together the numbers for the month, and I think that I've made huge progress over the past month in my trading, and I'm gonna show you what's going on right now. So I put together this chart that shows. I've started doing this that shows like my gains, my losses, just so that I can keep track of them kind of on a daily, like weekly, monthly basis. As you can see, the reds are the losses. Anything below 5%, I've had it. Anything more than a 5% loss, I have it marked as a deep red. Anything less than a 5% is marked as a light red. So you can see that I had a ton of losses in May and June. It was really frustrating, and I started doing this in April. And as soon as I saw how many losses I had in May and then in June, I decided to change my strategy, and instead of really going for, because a lot of these trades, if you look at them, the trades themselves were actually good. Like I think this is an example. Yeah, this is one of the really frustrating examples where my trade was actually good for the day, but because I was trading on a short time period, and because I was impatient, and because I was going for, I expected something to happen immediately. I got frustrated when we'd get out of the trade. Let's see, I think it's still just recording. I want to let Leabella out of the house. Anyways, this is a really good example where if you look at my sheet, what was this, TMDI on the 4th? So on the 4th, I went in at 81 and I got out at 76. So I went in at 81 sometime in the morning, and then I got out at 76. It was probably something like right around here, and then when it dropped down to here, that's when I got out, something like that. I'd have to look at the exact numbers. It doesn't matter, but this is a perfect example of what I was doing, where I would just get impatient with the setup. I was looking for something that wasn't there, and then later in the day, it would just go crazy and spike. You know, this could have been 100% gain if I would have been patient with it, but I wasn't, which is fine. It's part of the learning process. Like I accept it. So anyways, I figured that my overall strategy just wasn't working. I was taking all of these losses. A lot of them were tiny losses. Like I even had Icon, which I don't even know why I traded, because I have a history with Icon where I've never done well trading it. So I should just stay away from it. But I had like a 0% trade. So I was doing this a lot. So anyways, I looked at it, and I also sat down with a spreadsheet, and I put together some numbers, and I said, you know what, if I can do 10% a week, 10 to 20% a week for 6 months out of the year, and if the rest of the year is break even, so I win some, I lose some, it's just break even, then if I start out with a $15,000 account, then I can net about $70,000 by the end of the year. That's all I need. I can quit my job, I can trade full time, then I can find a mentor, and I can move on from there. But I got to start out with that baseline, with that base amount to be able to get out of where I'm at. And so, in the interest of goals and everything, I decided to change my approach in July. So, July, I had some really great trades, but I just wanted to look at overall. So overall, I calculated that I made about 50% on my trades altogether on all the greens, and then I lost about 10% on all the losses. So the sum total was 40%. That's 10% a week. With that, like, I can do fantastic over a year if I can replicate that every month. So it's a huge improvement. I just wanted to go through and see, why I did better and what happened with this. So I'm going to go into my first trade, which is MYOS. Let's see. Let me grab this. MYOS, I was in at 949, out at 954. Yeah, so I basically started trading this. This was a breakout. This is a breakout move about right there, out at 954, 949, 954. And what were the numbers? Let's see. In at 949, 272, and out at 332. Yeah, so it was in here and out here. This was just a classic breakout pattern. I was just waiting to see what would happen when it hit this level, and then I traded in. I got out quickly. I didn't want to hold. I just wanted to have a win, even if it was a smaller win, and that's what I got. It was fantastic. Let's see. GNUS is another. Let's see. GNUS. Oh, that's right. I went overnight on this. Let me look at this. GNUS, I was in at 348, something like that, right around there. And then I think this spiked the next day, and then it did horribly. But I was able to cut it before it turned into a loss. I think it was a pretty big win. I think this was the one that it was a pretty big win, and then it turned out to be. I just got out so that I didn't take like a total loss on it. Which is something that I don't usually do. Usually I'll wait for it to turn into a small loss before I get out. So I was okay with that. Some of my losses, this is one of my big losses, the BGI. This actually wasn't 5%. So I'm actually gonna mark that a light red just for, like, the colors matter to me. I don't know. I'm trying to really do a good job of keeping track of this. So this was one of the examples of a pattern that doesn't really work for me, or didn't really work for me on this trade. So I was in at 957, out at 1009. Yeah. So what I was trying to do is I was trying to dip by this and see if it would go back up. But what I kind of didn't take into account is that it had broken this level, not really hard, but decently hard. And I think a lot of people just got scared out by it. So this was, if I remember right, this was one of the catalyst for this was the news that they had gotten threatened to be delisted, and so and this was actually a good play in June, but in July the pattern just didn't play out. This was the first and last time that I tried to play this pattern because it didn't work out for me. I ended up the way that I got out of it was I actually cut my loss pretty well. I think that I got out on a green candlestick, which is always my goal, that no matter when I get out on a green candlestick so that I'm selling into strength. But I think I bought into strength, and no. I bought into weakness and I sold into strength. That's what I did. This trade, the way that I traded it was not bad, but the pattern was bad because it didn't work. I'll do a couple more examples. DPW, this was a fantastic win for me, 10%. One of my big wins for July, my second biggest win. So 958 and 1009, 958, yeah, and 1009. Yeah, this was an absolutely fantastic trade. I was so proud of myself for the way that I did it. I just wanted a quick 10% gain off of it. I got in here at this 4 level. I totally got out way too early. I didn't think that it would go all the way to 5. I thought that it would get up to this 5 level and it would break. That's why I sold. I sold way early at 450, but I got my 10%, and that's all I wanted because if you'll see, what I try to do is when I have this string of losses like this, then I'm always really conservative. So I got this 8% win with BNGO, and then DPW was a 10% win. So I was super careful with this trade. I kind of traded scared. I didn't trade the setup as well as I could have, but I was okay with that. I didn't foresee it going as high as it did, and I think that when this dip happened, I saw something in the level 2 that I didn't like, and I just sold. I think this was actually a bad sell too. I think I actually sold into weakness because I freaked out, but it was still a win, so I count it as a win. And then the last one that I'm going to show is Ecor. Super proud of this trade because it's so different. So this was one that I just did this morning. I was watching it. I didn't even. I had a meeting with my manager that went over the time that it normally should, and so I didn't even see the market until it was about right here. And when I saw it dip and then go back up and not reach this level again or go above it, that was when I knew that it was a short opportunity, not a long opportunity. So I shorted it. It was a hard to borrow. It was really weird the way that it filled because it said it didn't fill at all in E-Trade Pro, but I got a mobile notification that it did fill. So I got in at 241 and then I got out at 220, and I got out as it was dropping right here. It dropped right here and then it started to go back up, and I freaked out and I decided, no, I better get out. I don't want to turn this gain into a break even or a loss or a really small gain. So I took my 10%. But this was actually my very first short. I had one more short that was at the beginning of April, in the middle of April. INSE was technically my first short, but that was just me like trying out a short. So I think I did like 10 shares. So even though it was actually a win, it was still like not technically like a real short, like I didn't have any real risk. And so when I did it, like I didn't feel any of the emotion or anything like that. So I'm super proud of my first short. I'm really happy that I called this like I did. I felt like I did a really good job. I feel like right now this is a pattern that I can make 10% on a regular basis, either short or long, where you have these stocks that drop, that they go in the morning and they either spike or channel or drop. I mean, that's kind of all that they can do. But judging on the action, I can have a pretty good idea. Like everything's pretty technical right now in the markets, where people they sit there and watch these, and if it's pretty consistent for a stock to drop. If it drops this much and it goes up, and if it doesn't break above this level, this resistance, then it'll drop more. So that's a really easy, like steady level that I can use every time to make money. So I think that I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I'm gonna look for better patterns because I still don't have, like, the patterns that I'm trading are really short-term technical patterns. You can see with my enters and exits that I'm not holding anything for a very long time. And that's fine. Like, I don't want to trade for a long time. I don't want to be in a trade all day. But I do want to get better at finding better patterns, and that's something that I'm going to focus on. I actually have a spreadsheet. I'm going to show you my sheet that I've been working on. This is for July. This is the second month. So June was the first month that I was able to get all of the gainers for the day, the gainer patterns for the day. But I did that throughout the whole month. And I just got to finish filling this out, and then just look for patterns, just get better at looking for patterns, just patterns that work, patterns that I can make money off of. Now that I know how to long and I know how to short, I feel pretty confident in both of the processes. I just need to find good patterns to trade and just keep shooting for that 10% a week. That's all I'm going for. I'm not going for anything more. And if I can kind of like finish out the year with my job, and then I'm going to get a second job, if I can keep doing that 10% a week when I'm trading, then as soon as I get my account built up, then I'll be able to get a running start and kill this and become a full-time trader. So super proud of myself. This is hopefully the first of many months of green. I don't expect perfection of myself. I think that this month was a kind of an easy month for me because the patterns, everything's really technical right now with the trading. But so I need to get better. So like the challenges going forward are going to be finding good patterns to trade, because I still don't have like a pattern in my mind. When I sit down, all I'm doing is like dip buying or like short selling into resistance. So super simple, but so I want to find some better patterns that I can trade so that I can do better in that way, and so that when the market shifts, like I'm able to kind of adapt. But I'm just gonna kind of keep doing what I'm doing, and if I find a good pattern just that I can play over and over, then that's what I'm gonna do. But yeah, like I said, I'm really proud of my progress. I mean, I think it's fantastic that I was able to make 40% over the month. Just let me know what you think, and if you have any thoughts on this, and we'll talk to you soon. I'm super stoked to see you guys in a couple of weeks.